In solo leveling, Daddy Wu and Body Demon Essel finally reach the 100th floor. Everywhere is a desolate wasteland. Waiting, they hear something in the distance, wondering what it is, only for them to hear wings swooshing. They see a dragon in the distance, rapidly approaching, and my liege gets prepared. His eyes light up as he's ready for the upcoming battle. The creature lands on the building and instantly makes the ground quake, only for it to be a monstrous entity, looking down on them both with red eyes and with a sword that has blue aura emanating around it. This was Baran, the demon king. He looks down on my liege, like Sun Jin Woo couldn't pack him into the next week. Glorious Wu recognizes his remarkable force, and all of a sudden Body Demon Essel starts herself and starts sensing her bloodlust. It's so chilling, she says. Lord Wu notices Body Essel shaking in her timbers. He also observes that the dragon was a wyvern called Castellan. Lord Wu notices it and notices how the demon is able to comfortably ride it as though it was a horse. Baran the Demon King jumps up from the building immediately, going to attack them both, but my liege is only thinking about extracting its shadow. The Demon King draws out a sword ready to slash these both into next week and uses a skill called Hell's Army. Immediately, portals start jumping out to the ground and demon soldiers begin to summon, so ugly that I know for a fact their breath stinks so bad. At first there was a couple few, then it ended up being hundreds, then thousands of demon soldiers. Suddenly they were surrounded by all the demons in their presence, and Lord Wu realizes that these are all A rank at least. Badi Essel is asking what should she do, and next thing you know the demons are getting ready to attack. As they rapidly approach, Essel shouts,
Jin Woo, sir!
And they start running towards Lord Wu at the same time. However, this is all part of my liege's plan as he draws them in closer, saying not yet. They approach even closer, making both Badi Essel and my Lord Wu become more nervous. They come in just right and about, and then immediately dark shadows begin to enthrall everything. It's my liege's skill. He uses Monarch's domain and it begins to become activated. Come forward! He yells. A blade pierces one of the demon's skull, chopping that hole into next week. Bro didn't even get time to think. But it's not just him. A multitude of blades become out of the ground and begin stabbing and piercing all of the demons. They begin to stab and kill all of them, and Badi Essel has no choice but to revolt in my liege's aura.
Stop glazing a reed.
5 huge demons approach Lord Jin Woo and try to assault him. However, claws come out of nowhere, along with the great sword, following with a red orb. These three were not about to let their liege get cooked. Tank begins with a big whoop and begins to attack one of the demons. Iron then smashes his sword into one of the demon's legs, and Igris leaps up whilst cutting up one of the demons easily. Igris, with all the aura he has, is staying in the air, and as he leaps, he falls down and lands on Tusk's arm, to which Tusk begins his spell. Big explosions begin all around the arena, effectively destroying and blowing up all the demons there. Essel cannot believe her eyes, saying,
Wow, we've been climbing the floors together, but it is my first time witnessing him in a battle of his magnitude.
However, Lord Wu is looking at Demon Baran whilst he is smiling, chuckling, looking down on them both. He realizes that Baran is the supreme ruler of this place, and Jin Woo is an invader, a threat that needs to be eliminated. Baran opens up his dirty mouth, with blue shocks coming out, and then charging up. Big lightning explosions light up the clouds and making the whole arena crack. Multiple cracks and rumbles can be heard throughout the whole battlefield, making everywhere explode and rumble. Jinwoo realizes that this isn't just lightning, covering both him and Badi Essel. Badi Essel looks to Lord Wu like,
Oh my god, he just saved me.
Lord Wu jumps up, jumps to the building and jumps up again and tries to slash the wings. However, Demon Baran King slaps his blade down. What do you think you're doing? The demon says to Jinwoo. Baran effectively smacks away Jinwoo, causing him to fly all the way to the ground. Jinwoo gets crashed into the ground and he looks.
He's so strong.
Jinwoo says as he looks up towards the sky. The Demon King growls, letting off a strong lightning attack. Jinwoo dodges the clash effectively, going to the side and moving.
I gotta get away from here quick.
Jinwoo thinks to himself,
He's so fast, he's going to catch up. My rope can only do so much to protect me.
Suddenly, fire comes out of nowhere and Jinwoo is shocked. A big explosion can be heard as the fire and lightning both clash against each other. It's Tusk yelling with a loud roar. The clash goes on, making big explosions and big quakes all around the battlefield, making Jinwoo having to dodge pretty much everything in the sight. The demon becomes overpowered by this power and dodges to the side quickly before getting incinerated by the fire. The dragon, however, falls prey to the fire. The dragon falls down to the ground.
I finally got you down. I was getting tired of looking up at you.
Jinwoo says, observing the Demon King. In solo leveling, the Demon King walks towards Sun Jin Woo, tired of all the games, and he's ready to pack his shit into next week. He lets out a loud causing a loud explosion and beam to destroy literally everything around him. Tusk immediately uses the skill Hymn of Protection, and as the beam approaches, protects him and Sun Jin-woo from the blast.
I'm starting to low run on mana. He's not even giving me a chance to replenish my reserves.
Sun Jin-woo says to himself, my liege's mana rapidly decreases, as he realizes regeneration uses up a great deal of mana when one of his high-ranking soldiers is destroyed. However, my liege realizes that he can take this fight without their help.
I must win this battle before I run out of mana.
Iron lets out a big roar, trying to hit the Demon King. However, the Demon King slaps the hammer away, stabbing Iron directly in the face. Lightning comes out from the blade, going everywhere whilst he looks down upon Iron. He then uses his blade to spin Iron around like a roly-poly before destroying him. Igris leaps up, trying to slash the Demon King. The Demon King grabs the blade and starts chuckling. And now with Igris in his grasp, he yells, destroying Igris with a beam. My liege comes for the flank, trying to punch the Demon King. However, he blocks my liege's attack with his great sword.
He was able to block my critical attack?
My liege says to himself. The Demon King then grabs my liege's head, holding him up as though he just caught an ant trying to scurry around in the ground. Iron and Igris immediately go in for the attack to protect the liege. He cuts their swords down. Glorious Wu stabs the Demon King right in his chest, and with the sword going through the Demon King's arm, he has nowhere to move. The Demon King immediately realizes what's going on, begins to yell, blow up everything in his vicinity. As it blows up everything in vicinity, and I mean everything in his vicinity, lightning begins to destroy the whole battlefield. Drippy Woo gets pushed all the way back, protecting himself from the big blast. He looks towards the Demon King, tired of all the fun and games, and he's also ready to pack his shit. The Demon King then gets a hold of 2 lightning spears, and as a result, brings out his demon blades from it. He looks at Sun Jin-woo chuckling. Drippy Woo looks ahead, thinking I can do this shit too, and then gets ready in fighting position. They both face each other, ready to have the greatest fight the Demon King has had in years. My liege dashes towards the Demon King, and their blades clash. The Demon King grabs the sword, ready to stab Sun Jin-woo. However, my liege blocks up all the attacks, hits the Demon King right in the shoulder, only for him to block it off with his demon sword. Hundreds of clash goes on and on and on as they begin to hit each other, and then the Demon King opens his mouth, ready to cause a big explosion. Glorious Wu looks at the Demon King and realizes from this range, and blocks the attack from point blank range. As a result, turns his blade around and hits the explosion toward the sky. Both his blades fly up in the air, however, and now my liege is left defenseless.
Damn it, my blade!
The Demon King smiles, thinking he's about to cook my Glorious Wu from this range. Drippy Wu grabs the Demon King's arms.
This strength is unbelievable.
My liege says to himself. The Demon King chuckles as he looks down on Drippy Woo, ready to cook him. Again?
Does he have an infinite amount of mana or something?
Looking at the Demon King, to which he begins to open his mouth, preparing for another blast. However, a strike comes from the side of the Demon King's face, and a blade is seen flowing in the air. Glorious Wu is shocked, only to find out it was Badi Essel, not trying to let my Drippy Wu being cooked. She learned well. The Demon King turns towards Badi Essel, and now Glorious Wu realizes this is his chance. He uses his intelligence stat that he invested so heavily in to go towards Commander's touch, grabbing the Demon King effectively. The Demon King then realizes he got distracted and he's about to get cooked harder than a piece of egg when you put it in the pan. My liege grabs the Demon King's arm and rips them off by turning him off rapidly.
That's enough! It's time for this to end!
My liege punches the Demon King right in his jaw, blowing him up into next week. Essel looks and says,
Jinwoo, sir!
You have defeated Baran, the Demon King, the system says, as the Demon King's lifeless body crashes against the ground. You have obtained Baran's soul. Quest to collect the Demon Souls 2 has been completed, the system says, as Drippy Woo stand there, with all the aura emanating around him.
Jinwoo, sir!
Essel yells as she runs towards my liege.
Essel, go and tell your father. Go and tell him that the Radish clan is now the #1 clan.
Jinwoo, sir. The name of my clan is Rajiru.